Hey, hi students, how are you all? Today we are going to start the fourth part of federalism. So now very well you have understood what exactly federalism is. It's a sharing of power between central government and state government. Then we have seen the criteria for this distribution, list system, panchayati raj, then power sharing, all the key features and financial what we can say autonomy is given to the states and panchayati raj also. So today we are going to talk about Panchayati Raj. Last time I asked you many questions. So I hope you must have discussed about it. You must have got the answers of them. Okay, so let's talk about it now today. Decentralization in India. First, why the power was decentralized in India, that we'll try to understand. In India, if you observe, India is such a big country in terms of area also and in terms of populace also. So to handle such a big country, it's very difficult if the power lies in few hands. So we must distribute it so that there will be convenience for the operation of the country, for the management of the country, and other people, those who are residing in the country, they will also get chance for election system or administration of the country. Second thing, if you see, there are many states in our India, those are almost same in terms of area with European countries. For example, Maharashtra is as big as Germany. So Germany it's a nation, but Maharashtra is one state of India. So to operate such a big country, it's very difficult. So we have decentralized the power in India. What is a decentralization? When power is taken away from central and state government and given to local government, it is called decentralization. What are the principles of local self-government? First, problems can be best solved at local level. So here you can see some people, they are sitting under the tree. They are talking about their problems of their village and they themselves are solving at village level so that all the problems from village level will not come to the state. And that's why the state doesn't have to bear such a big load. So to avoid it, we our constitution asks the villagers, asks the Gram Panchayat to solve their local problem at local level only. Second principle of local self-government is people have better knowledge of their problem. Each village has its own problem. So it's not possible for the state or the country to understand their problem exactly. So the people of that village, they know it very well. So they will, as they have the specific knowledge of their problem, they are more competent than the state and the central level to solve it. Third principle is villagers have better idea where to spend the money when they receive funds from state government, central government. Then it's their duty or it's their responsibility where to spend them exactly, where their village need money, whether in for local road construction in their village or drainage line or solar systems. Okay, so in this way they themselves will decide where to spend this money. And the fourth principle is, and the most important thing is, it is about the self-esteem and dignity. People feel that their opinion, their suggestions are also important. So they feel that they are directly participating in decision making. So in this way, in parliamentary system, it's not possible for all to go in the parliament and to sit there. But in the villages, they themselves by sitting in their village, they can solve the problem and they will feel they will not feel alienated from the system. So they will directly participate in decision making. So these are the principles of local self-government. Now, let's talk about the history of local self-government, decentralization in India. Before 1992 also there was panchayat, means panchayat raj was there. Actually, gram panchayat all were there, but actually they were not that much active. There were few drawbacks in such a system before 1992. For example, these gram panchayats or panchayati raj, they were direct under control of state government. So all the decisions related to gram panchayat and all the three tiers of panchayat raj, all the decisions regarding them would be taken by state government. Second, there were no regular elections for panchayat raj because they didn't have their specific election commission. Then third thing, no powers or own resources. They didn't have their own resources to collect the taxes. So they always had to depend upon state government for the funds. So all these were the drawbacks of Panchayati Raj in India before 1992. But after 1992, the picture completely changes and the constitution is amended, and by that amendment we brought many changes in our constitution by which Panchayati Raj has been strengthened. So major steps were taken in our constitutional amendment. Please find out which what is the number of that amendment. As per which constitutional amendment Panchayati Raj was strengthened. Okay. So as per that constitutional amendment, as per that article is called Panchayat Raj. So which were the article in that Panchayat Raj? The first, regular elections will be held in the panchayati after 5 years. After every 5 years, sarpanch from village, then mayor, then in uh, chairman, all they will be selected after every 5 years. Then second thing, as there are reserved seats for central government, central election, that is general election, then for legislative assembly, same like that in Panchayati Raj also there will be reserved seats for SC, ST, OBC. Then one third positions will be reserved for the women. Same means you might remember that we have seen this in our central government system. So there also same rules are applicable. So all those rules we have applied for Panchayati Raj. Then there will be a separate state election commission for conducting these elections. State, every state will have election commissions henceforward so that they can conduct the elections in the states. Earlier, election commission was one single. Afterwards, every state have one election commission, that will be state election commission. Of course, central election commission and state election commissions are different. Central election commission, they conduct the elections of general assembly, general election, that is parliamentary elections, and state election, parliament and state election, they will conduct panchayati raj. Okay. Then there will be municipal corporations, mahanagarpalika, nagarpalika, etc. States share revenue resources and power with panchayat. So, as the state has given some resources to the panchayat so that they can collect the taxes from the people and they can utilize them for the development of the district, of the tehsil and the village. But as the panchayat, it comes under state list. So state to state it is different how much revenue resources and power should be shared with the panchayat. State to state this proportion is different. Now in this system we'll try to understand what is gram panchayat. Okay, so as in our national election, state election, first we elect the candidates, and from those candidates, the chief minister is selected by, elected by the governor, and prime minister by president. Same like that. In villages also, after every 5 years, elections take place. Then as per the population of that village, there will be candidates. So if just imagine there are 9 candidates, so from those 9 candidates, the most popular one will be elected as Sarpanch. Okay, and other 8, they will be Panch, Sadasya, okay, members. Then one president or Sarpanch. So Sarpanch is called president. Then this panchayat will work for next 5 years. Then after every 5 years, there will be re-elections. In a single year, at least there should be 2 or 3 Gram Sabha should be there, as there are sessions in Parliament, winter session, okay, then summer session. So in the same way, in villages, there will be Gram Sabha twice or thrice in a year, where all the villagers they will come together, they will approve annual budget and review the performance of governing political party. Okay, so in this way, Gram Panchayat works. Now, when we talk about Panchayati Raj, it also has 3 tiers. First, as we are talking about federalism, first it's a union government, then state government, and now we are on local government. So in local government, there are 2 branches. One is Panchayat, and second, for urban area, it is Nagarpalika, and for rural area, it is Panchayat. So let's talk about rural area first. The highest tier of the panchayat system, that is rural system, it is district panchayat. We call it Jilla Parishad. Then second level, it is intermediate panchayat. We call it Tehsil or Panchayat Samiti. Yes, Panchayat Samiti. And the third tier, it is village panchayat, Gram Panchayat. Okay. Now let's come to Nagar Palika. So somewhere you can see it is called Mahanagarpalika and somewhere it is Nagarpalika. So there will be municipal corporation or municipal council. It depends upon the population of that city. So Nagarpalikas. First municipal corporation, that is Mahanagarpalika. Then municipal council and Nagar Panchayat. So in this way, in Nagarpalika, as per the population, it will be decided. So these are the tiers of Panchayati Raj. So I hope you must have understood this. So to understand it better way, let me show you one video. Please listen it carefully.
Gram Sabha and Panchayat. This is a Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha is a meeting of all adults who live in the area covered by a Panchayat. Anyone who is 18 years old or more and who has the right to vote is a member of the Gram Sabha. The Gram Sabha members elect their representatives. These elected representatives are known as ward members or panchs. A sarpanch is also elected by the Gram Sabha members. The sarpanch and panchs together form a Gram Panchayat. A Gram Panchayat is elected for 5 years. The Gram Panchayat has a secretary who is also the secretary of the Gram Sabha. The secretary is appointed by the government. The secretary is responsible for calling the meeting of the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat and keeping a record of the proceedings.
So here you will come to know secretary means Gram Sevak. Okay, so he is representative of the government. He is not elected by the people. He is appointed by the government. He gives exam, and after giving exam, if he uh, what we can say crosses the specific limit merit of the marks, then he will be elected. He will be appointed as a Gram Sevak secretary. So what's his work? He works along with Sarpanch. So you can say this is same, exactly same as we go with our legislature executive. Okay, how? For example, chief minister is elected, but governor is selected. Then, if you talk about central government, prime minister is elected, but president is selected. Means executive line it is. Okay. Then same like that, if you come to villages, Sarpanch is elected, but Gram Sevak, he is a representative of the government. So all the details he has to keep. So in this way, Panchayat Raj works.
Gram Sabha and Panchayat. This is a Gram Sabha. The secretary is responsible for calling the meeting of the Gram Sabha and Gram Panchayat and keeping a record of the proceedings. The Panchayati Raj is a three-tier system. It works at three levels: the Gram Panchayat at village level, the Janpad Panchayat or Panchayat Samiti at the block level, and the Zilla Parishad at the district level. The Panchayat Samiti has many Gram Panchayats under it. The Zilla Parishad makes developmental plans and also regulates the money distribution among all the Gram Panchayats.
So I hope this is very clear to you what exactly Panchayati Raj system is and how it works. So thank you so much. You must have understood the federalism. Here we finish our lesson, and next lesson you will get very soon. Till then, thank you so much. Have a nice day.